Welcome to the Identity. Now, picking from what has been discussed, I don't know when you're going to have an end of this discussion about celebration, but luckily we have an amazing trio again who are going to help us understand this further. We have Pastor J.P. Maya, we also have Effie Atieno, and we also have Herman Tambo. Welcome, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, Pastor, let me start off with you. Are there approved celebrations for Christians? Because if you think about it, there are some celebrations you're like, no, it's not Christian for me or not. Are there approved celebrations for Christians?
Yes.
Which ones, for example?
Celebrate yourself. You can't do anything else. Just go out and have fun. Just be happy about yourself. Celebrate, jump, and scream and feel good. It's a natural response. To say celebration is wrong is missing the point. Yeah.
Now, in our society, you have in Kenya, I don't know about other places, but in Kenya you have very many celebrations, holidays. You know, you have how many? What kind of celebrations do you have?
Graduations. or that's not what we are talking about.
Yeah, you're in
national celebrations.
Okay, national celebrations.
Yeah. And there's always that hustle. For example, let me use an example. If let me come to you. I don't know if you've met this struggle where you're a Christian, you want to go to a particular celebration, but then there's a particular attire you have to wear. And you're like, am I portraying a Christian image? Have you had that struggle before?
Yes, quite a lot actually. And I think it's even worse being a female. You know, for a man, you just put on your pants and your t-shirt and you're good. But there are some celebrations that you have to dress a certain way. For example, let's say in school, we have like an end year party and things like that, and there's always a theme. So you find that for the whole week, you're celebrating a different culture and you have to dress appropriately for that culture. And if there's a discussion that's so hard to have, it's about culture, because every culture dresses differently. And because you're embracing that culture and embracing each other within school, you have to dress how they dress. And some of them are just very skimpy, honestly. But you just have to do it, or you are left out of the entire celebration. And yeah, it becomes hard because you question whether you'll be Christian enough if you dress that way.
When you're going through that, how did that make you feel?
I just start questioning myself and my Christianity. Like, is me being a Christian more about how I dress? That's why we have creeping compromises. I'm like, see, I just wear, it's only for one day, you know. But at the end of the day, there's this person who looks at me and is like, in Nazarene, there is one person we know is an Adventist, and that is Effie. So, you know, if I do that, this image is already tarnished. So I have to be really careful. But that's one good thing about it. It made me learn how to be really careful about how I portray myself, because people not only listen to what I say, but they look at how I behave and what I wear. And yeah, that preaches more than me actually preaching to them.
Herman, have you had that struggle before?
No. The way she said, as a man, it's not too difficult. My struggle has sometimes been, I'm perhaps not very versatile. I don't know how every culture dresses. So when we have events like that, I have the challenge. But again, I guess maybe the difficulty would also arise when, for instance, there is a theme and there is something like maybe cross-dressing, which as a Christian perhaps may conflict with my principles. And you ask yourself, do I just dress the way I want to dress and go for the celebration or the party either way? Or do I just decide not to show up at all because I'm going to look different? So I guess maybe that would be considered a struggle.
JP, let me come to you. So where do we draw a balance with all this? Especially in the element of dressing.
This brings us to the huge discussion of culture, whether Christians should be culture affirming or culture refiners.
Correct.
It's a big debate, theology. because the reference point is Jesus Christ. Jesus was God and in the beginning and was God when he came. But what is this he did to come here and yet remain God but man? So how did he fit? Did he adapt, or in order to fit, or what is incarnation? What is it really? What is incarnation? And it's a big debate, trust me. A big debate. It goes as far as, did he take the nature before Adam sinned or after Adam sinned? Because this was a sinful place. It's a bad place. How can God be here and still remain clean?
Yeah, actually,
it's a big deal. It's a big deal.
Are you trying to say you're going to be in this limbo for quite some time?
It will be. It will be. So rather than jump into the deep end, it's called split hairs. Let's not go there. The best thing is to know that Christians are salt, and salt never screams when it is in the food. So attention-seeking or things that will make you stand out should be a thing you want to avoid. Yeah, a Christian is an influence that is gentle, not subtle, gentle, but so invisible. Yes. Ellen White talks about, do not be the first to adapt these fashions, and don't be the last, because you can go to these extremes. Yeah, just be somewhere. To be in the front means you fit. Yeah, you fit in the fads. When people are sagging, you sag, and they say, this is the only way you can preach while you are sagging. That kind of thing, yeah, and so forth and so forth. What I would say is, the other thing is the stereotypes. We have made others think that because they celebrate, in fact, put it blunt, celebration worship. Leave alone celebration. These are the things, the normal things in life. Celebration worship is a big deal, even in the Adventist church. So much so that we actually have two branches of Adventism. Yeah, we have the liberals and the conservatives. And then we even have the black and white worship. You go to a church and somebody shouts amen, some people turn. Yeah, as if you committed a crime. So it's a thing that is hard to deal with. We will have to contend with it, struggle with it. But I just told you, the principle should be, Jesus came. Jesus came. And when he did, he was able to live among men without sin. And in fact, at some point, people didn't even know. They asked him, are you the Christ? Are you the Messiah? That tells you how well he did it.
It was very invisible.
Yeah, very invisible. At some point, he would heal people and say, don't tell anyone. The question is, how would a lame person who's been known to be limping around or crawling on his knees, going into the village and not tell anyone what really happened? You are now walking, what happened? And you don't tell the story? You see, and the idea was, don't publicize. Don't have posters all over. Yeah, so the idea of Christian influence should be very gentle and so invisible.
When you put it like that, it pretty much answers very many questions in my head. I don't know if it's answering questions in your head, but it pretty much makes sense as to why we should not be too fast or too behind. We should understand the functionality of, dressing and all these things, but equally let's be very temperate, so to speak. But then there's this particular issue, which I don't know if it's just me, but I've had it quite often. When you go to a wedding, and you're already done.
The reception.
JP has already finished. You're now husband and wife. You're now going to reception where we're going to practice, where we, Then at
you
that
celebrate. You celebrate.
Then you'll see an elder looking at you.
Ovocano and stuff.
An elder looking at you. Next week you're on church board. Have you heard that?
Yes, I've actually heard that a lot.
It happened on this hill. The Advent hill here. There was a wedding that was, and we danced. We danced around. We went all over the place. And I think from that time, no weddings were allowed. Because there's a guy who knows how to do the thing. I don't want to mention his name, but he's good at the reception thing. He has a nice mix. He's a DJ for real. And he mixes. And people dance. I sit. I don't dance myself. I sit to enjoy it. I enjoy the expression of joy. Yeah, like I said again, what is going on? If you feel like you should not be celebrating, then you should not go to a reception.
You should not be there.
Just stay away. Finish the wedding and go home. But if you want to enjoy this too, go out there and have fun. And it's not throughout. You know, what I don't like is the fact that we've secularized it. Yeah, this is a Christian function. It should not be secular. And secularizing means you want to bring all sorts of funny music. Yeah, because we also have another debate as to how much should we, what should we do and not in music. There is a need for music reform in this time and age. But the question of going to a function, honestly, a reception, and you don't want to see people dancing, let them dance. If you're comfortable, dance. Now, I know this brings the question of postmodernism.
Yes.
Where relativism, it depends. It depends on where you are. It depends on who you are and so on. They are still absolutes. We still have the fear of God in our lives. We still have the commandments of God. We have not reached this point that you can do what you want. No.
So for those people who are oppressing others because of
no,
dancing,
they are misplaced. They should be advised to go home. Don't go to a reception. And if you must go but are not comfortable, ask for a tent, an exclusive tent. Yeah? And I remember in my youthful age in university, we used to have a Christmas banquet. And guys would be given a chance to invite their girlfriends. And the next year, girls would invite their boyfriends. You know, it was real fun. But those who never made it were given a corner. So, very awesome. So go there and sit there and console yourself, because that is honestly a place you should be mourning. If you can't celebrate, then you should be mourning. Why can't you celebrate?
Now, there's something you've also brought in, and I'd like to bring you Effie, just to borrow from experience. You're a vegetarian or a vegan?
Vegetarian. I'm not a vegan.
Vegetarian.
Yes.
I've heard of, not experienced, heard of guys who are vegetarians or vegans, and because they are getting married, the reception diet will have to be purely vegetarian. Have you seen that or heard that?
I have been to such a wedding.
How was it?
Let me not put it in specific terms.
Getting emotional.
Yes, but okay. I believe in having liberties. You know, just because I subscribe to a certain idea, I do not expect you or everyone else to subscribe to the same. So if it is my wedding and I am purely vegan, of course, not everyone who comes to my wedding will be vegan. That is one thing I have to understand. I'm telling you, I went to the wedding. The wedding was really nice. It was lovely. And then we went to the reception and you see so many bowls and I get excited. You open this one, it has saga. This one has cabbage. This one has skuma. I'm like, okay, what's going on? This one has beans, dengu, red beans.
All types of beans are there.
Yes. I have never seen so many beans in my life like that. I have never. So, you know, I look at the food. I'm like, what's the difference between here and eating when I'm at mission? Because, you know, like, there's really no difference. So I feel we should not go to the extreme with our ideas. Just because it is a celebration. Understand that you have friends from all walks of life. Friends who are vegetarian, some who are vegan, some who are, let me not say carnivorous, but those who can't touch vegetables. There are people like that. So you have to come to have your celebration or whatever from a point of people are coming to celebrate me. And if they are coming to celebrate me, I should also be able to accommodate them. It's just being accommodative, you know, and understanding that not everyone will do things the way I do. So I let them do it the way they do it, the way what makes them happy. And that's just the essence of it.
As a vegetarian myself, I think I am a bit of an authority to speak on this. There's a balancing act, okay? On one hand, this is their wedding. They can do whatever they want. But on the other hand, the way she said, you are hosting people who have different convictions from you. Now, what would I do? I would not do that, you know. I would not subject people and impose my own convictions on them. So that's one way of looking at it. But the other way of looking at it, a friend of mine was telling me that it could also be an opportunity to to show people that it is possible to actually have a wedding and not have any meat served. Now, I'm not going to take a side on that issue. I think it comes down to the way she said liberty, what a person is going to decide. But one thing that I know is that meat as and of itself is not evil. Okay, I'm not vegetarian because meat was doing anything to me, my face was swelling. I just made that decision. But it's not a moral decision. You know, it's not an imperative that God has put on me that be vegetarian or else. You know, if someone else decides that they want to eat meat, it is very allowable. The only thing we know in scripture that has been expressly said is that there's clean and unclean meat. Now, in that case, it becomes a moral issue. But if people want to have chicken, serve them chicken. If they want to have beef, mutton, whatever, as long as you observe the highest standards of hygiene and you know, that type of thing. And anyway, the way she said, sometimes you have people who are coming from Ushago, coming for your wedding. Sometimes you have relatives who are not Adventist. You know, it's good to be accommodative. Yeah.
Now, Pastor, we in the festive season. In the festive season.
Just to add before you
Okay.
I agree with the sentiments. It's wrong to have a function that you have the liberty to invite people and you want to rub things into people's faces. It's not right. There's a time to preach and there's a time to have a wedding. So if you create the impression that you want to preach them, we have to preach, man, we have to preach using food.
Every opportunity.
You're being foolish. You're being foolish. You see, people make choices. Ellen White had to serve meat. When she stopped, she served family meat until they were able to make the decision. So if you are sure that everybody coming is a vegetarian, then serve vegetarian. Because you invited. You said only vegetarians are welcome. That would be fair. That would be very fair. But just a wedding invitation and you want to rub it in, it doesn't work like. In fact, that is what has made the gospel hard. Imagine Jesus again. He came here. God. Do you know what he served people after he resurrected? What did he serve them for breakfast? Fish, my friend. He served fish after resurrection. So after glorification, you serve fish. This is why I'm saying we are playing too much theology. And it's not safe. Because the gospel is, we must win people to God. Yeah, it's not about, we must tell them. They must eat beans to know it's good. In fact, science itself. What we call essential amino acids. You can't feed people beans for a whole year and you think they are healthy. Yeah, so if you want to serve vegetarian, then have the option. There's a table where people can say, if you're not vegetarian, you can serve. And the idea is to respect them.
Yes.
But they will want to say, what is it that makes these people eat this? You'd be surprised some people want to eat what you are eating and leave what they eat always. Yeah, so being smart, being wise, is what the gospel calls for. And the example is Jesus Christ. The Lord served things you would not imagine. A glorified person, now you will not reach anywhere, and you want to rub it into people's faces. Yeah, let's be wise. Food is a very personal thing. Invite people with specifications. Yeah, and that is a social function. It's not a church function. It's a social function. You're inviting guests. It's like coming to your house. Serve tables. You can have a buffet and people serve.
Well, they're comfortable.
Yeah,
now, being that in the festive season, I think we can never talk enough about Christmas. And people, there's always that discussion: should I not? Why are we still in this dilemma?
It's because we don't want to listen.
Okay.
The Seventh-day Adventist Church is. The foundation stone was laid by a woman. We should stop criticizing women and being too hard when a woman laid the foundation of our church. The other thing is, the Ellen White, the voice is called the prophetic voice to the remnant. Talks about Christmas. She does. People don't want to listen. And why does she? What does she? She says, it's an Adventist home. She says, we are creating a problem in the children's mind by saying Christmas is fake. Why? Because we want children to grow up and believe in Jesus Christ, eventually. But here you are, rubbing it into Christmas is wrong. So in their minds they say, so Jesus was not born. So how will you then tell them later, believe in an older Jesus, when there is no baby Jesus? You understand? So, and it's for the sake of the children. For the sake of the children. It's true, Christmas is a pagan thing. It's a pagan thing. Jesus was not born in December, in winter. He was born when people were out grazing at night. People don't graze in winter at night. It must have been spring or summer. Yeah. But why did God remove? In fact, there was something historical that would have been easy to trace it. People are being counted, the census. They could easily go to the records and find out when were people counted, and they could have known. But you know, that record disappeared. God hid the time Jesus was born for a good reason. But then now, this, and I don't know whether to call it compromise, but it is called accommodation. Like somebody said, we have to learn to accommodate. For the sake of children, Christmas is a very important season. Very important. In fact, she says, have Christmas trees in church. Now, conservatives will hit the roof.
Yeah, I can imagine right now. I can imagine
but it's
right
because they claim to believe, and they here means those who think that they know everything. We don't. Trust me, even SDA, we don't know everything. Fundamental beliefs are not going to end at 28 when Jesus comes. We will have another one. We'll probably be 40 or 50 when Jesus comes. It means we don't know everything. And it's true that God is in the business of revealing himself. Christmas, the information and the revelation we have is good for children. You may choose not to go slaughtering and doing stuff. Like, because others say that is the ceremony of Tammuz. They were making chapos particularly. Yes, we don't want chapati during Christmas. You can choose to eat ugali. But for the sake of the children, have something that will direct their minds to baby Jesus. Yeah, he was born in a manger. That's the story we have. That's the revelation we have. He was born in a manger. As to when it was, we don't have the date. It's like this. You can't tell people stop going to church on Sunday and don't give them the alternative. Yeah, the alternative is Saturday, and prove it from the Bible. Now you are saying Christmas is wrong, then prove it. Prove it. Say it is June from Scripture. If you can't, then silence is eloquence. For the wisdom of God dictated that that date is hidden. Then let's go with what is there. And the spirit of prophecy says Christmas for children is an important thing. And it's understandable. It makes a lot of sense. Let them build the faith in baby Jesus so when they grow up, they identify with the Jesus who grew old. In fact, Luke says, and Jesus grew in stature and in favor. Yeah, pleasing God and pleasing men. That children identify with. A growing Jesus. He starts with a birthday. And birthday is a crazy thing for children. So don't kill your children. Don't destroy faith in the Lord by killing Christmas. It's a completely unnecessary war.
Wow. You know, these are topics which I always like ending by telling people just go do your study. Don't take our word as the gospel truth. Go do your study. Even as you come to a close, what would you like to finish up, Harmon?
I would say celebrations are good. They are not, as and of themselves, they're not evil. It comes down to what is done and how it is done. And I believe that every person has a conscience and a mind of their own. And the Bible is right here with us, and we can discover for ourselves. Jesus was very social. You read from the Bible, the first ceremony he ever attended in his public ministry was a wedding. So he was very social. He knew those were places to meet people. And maybe I would also say Christmas is one of the few times in a year that you can talk to someone freely about Jesus without it feeling funny. So we can take advantage of these holy days and these celebrations to just love people and to share whatever we have with them, but also to tell them about Jesus.
Amen. Yeah.
For me, I think specifically about Christmas, Christmas has not only been a symbol of the birthday of Jesus, but it's a symbol of family reunion. You know, after a long year of hard work and being away, everyone in their own places, this is one of the few times in a year where people actually come together in a family. And the moment we have that at the back of our minds, that we are celebrating us being together at this point, I think all this argument at some point ceases, because we learn that we're celebrating family and we're celebrating each other. So for me, the bottom line is the essence of it is coming together and celebrating together, which is what happens in birthdays and weddings and whatever kind of celebration. So the moment we take that time and see and appreciate it for what it is at that point, we can actually use it as a platform for ministry. Because the moment we start putting labels, so it's a pagan holiday, there's no way a child will understand that. You know, like there are times some Christmas find me when I'm on mission work and I teach children. So one time a child asks me, mbona nyinyi fanyangi Christmas? So here, you know, you're teaching them, they're there dressed all nice waiting for their parents so that they can go to the market or wherever they're going. And in my head, I'm like, should I just tell her? And if I'm telling her, what am I even telling her? I can't start telling her about Tammuz and Jeremiah 25. I can't do that. So I just tell her, birthday ya Yesu, nyi muende tu celebrate, lakini sisi tunaona tunachunga watoto bado. And that was it, because there was nothing else I could tell a child. Because the moment I destroy that idea that Jesus was born, then did he even live? If he was not born, he did not live.
Wow.
So you just have to leave it at that.
Don't kill baby Jesus.
Yeah, don't kill baby Jesus.
Yes, don't remove it. Because the Bible talks about he was born. It's a fact. Jeremiah says, you see, it was, but you know, it says the 25th day of the 12th month. You know the 12th month in the Hebrew calendar? It's not Christmas. We even become foolish. We do what we call eisegesis. You plant meaning. The 12th month is not December. December is Deca month. Deca means 10. December is the 10th month. So when you rush to say the 12th month means December, then you again misapplying the Bible. Just like people rush and say, Moses said, men should not put on women's clothes, and you think it is talking about trousers. It's not.
Wow. I mean,
For next season.
next episode, as you can see, there's clearly much we're going to talk about. And I think this also goes to an experience which I had once, that there was a public holiday and somebody asked me, "Hiyo ni nini? What is that? Is it in the Bible?"
Oh my.
You know, let's not kill baby Jesus. There are elements that we can seek to understand further. But even as I said, we are not the Bible. Read for yourself. Have this conviction for yourself, for you to be able to understand the meaning and why we speak of these things. Thank you for watching.